A warm welcome and thank you so very much for allowing us into your day. This is Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. I am Henry Ikwibike.
And I'm Choma Cohen.
All right, like we usually do today, we will equally be taking you to our newspaper headlines for you this morning. And right after that will be our main conversation for today. While we get everything all sorted out, please do well to be part of our community. Have a say in what we say. You can always find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. Doing this with you and with everyone in the studios is Barrister Francis Felly, Barrister Law Public Affairs Analyst. Thank you so very much for your time.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning, Choma.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Thank you. All right, so let's kickstart today with the first story we have, and that's on
Yeah, we'll be looking at the big story here, which is on Falana. Falz gave Bobrisky 12-hour ultimatum to apologize, retract defamatory claims. And I'll just give a little rundown to that particular story. Human rights activist and lawyer Femi Falana, along with his son, Folari, known as Falz, has demanded a public apology and retraction from the well-known cross-dresser Idris Okuneye, also known as Bobrisky, regarding alleged defamatory statements made in online audio recordings. The one of the recordings shared by controversial media critic Martin Ose, also called Verydarkman. Bobrisky claimed that he had spoken with Falz to ask for assistance in convincing his father, Falana, to secure a presidential pardon, which he alleged cost 10 million naira. Additionally, Bobrisky asserted that he requested 3 million naira from Falz to receive special treatment at Kirikiri Correctional Center.
all right, Barrister Francis Felly. I'd love us to take it from the legal side of things. And I'd love to ask you, what do you think are the consequences, once bitten, twice shy? What do you think are the consequences of accepting that you've done wrong legally and apologizing for it, especially speaking from the lessons learned from Bobrisky, who had admitted, and of course, that led him to the issues that we have today?
Yeah, that will forestall further infighting and litigation. Because if you just wake up one morning and bring an action against someone for defamation, the court is not always ready to listen to you until the court have seen efforts you have made to get that other party to apologize or to get the other party to have the issues resolved. That is why we issue letter of demand first. You know, the only letter that was written before now was the one directed to Verydarkman, you know, asking for apology. If he had apologized, the matter would have ended there. But he didn't, and he had a lawyer that said it was not defamation. Okay, now that same opportunity is being extended to Bobrisky to apologize for the utterances he made in that audio recording that have leaked now.
Which he said is AI.
Who you said is AI, yes. That's another conversation. So now the 12 hours, I think the letter was issued yesterday.
Yes,
right?
12 hours.
Yeah, so
It's gone past 12 hours.
so we don't know whether there's an apology or not. But before now, or as we speak now, we don't know that he has done that. But the implication is that if he or she does not apologize, they will go to court against him too. Nothing in the law says that the two defendants must be in one suit. You can have two separate suits against, at different points, they defame the claimant. Okay? So what this society must understand, like yesterday I was on News Central on Jasiri talking about this same issue, is that in the future, in time to come, there's going to be a lot of litigation because people think they can just talk to people anyhow they like. The origin of this is this face me, I face you mentality, where, you know, people are choked in almost like a jungle, where they are choked in the same apartment. And it comes with a lot of infighting. You talk to people anyhow, vulgar abuse, fighting. You want to go and bait, you kill. You want to go and yourself, you kill. And I don't know that you've seen that kind of existence. Almost every Nigerian have done that except for few. Now, when the internet came, all of a sudden, we're all packed into an electronic face me and face you. We now remember that this is where you can start misbehaving. People, they what do you call it? Speed Darlington did the same thing to Burna Boy. You know, made all trances and all that, a lot of all that. The same thing Verydarkman did. Okay. We also have smaller cases, many. When you post something on Facebook, people come to start to call you all sorts. Do you know that yesterday, when I did a program, one of the TV stations, I went under the comment on YouTube. One person specifically wrote that this lawyer is a complete thief. You understand? That's information. I can take him up from there. You understand?
So is it a freedom of speech? So where do we draw the freedom of speech?
No. Freedom of speech is not absolute.
Mm.
Yeah, because if you look at that section 33 to section 45 of the Constitution, you will see where section 45 subsections limit those fundamental rights. And it limits them to the extent that if you now use those rights that the Constitution have freely given to you, if you abuse it, then you will be sued. Okay? If you abuse it, you go to prison, you go to jail, you pay damages for all that. So it's not absolute. Freedom of expression does not mean you should go on the street and start calling people thief. What have I stolen? You understand? So can he, because I was arguing against the EFCC, their formation and all that, from the point of law. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is that most people who do that in this society don't even know they are committing a wrong, a civil wrong or a criminal wrong. That's cyber stalking. Okay? So this society cannot get away with all its indulgences in the digital space. People must take care of them. Okay? People must make sure that they go to court, and not just celebrity. You understand? Like the man in question, I have checked him out. I have someone whom I've handed that, an IT expert, to get me his identity. Okay? So, and I will bring an action against him in the days to come. So that he will come to court.
Apologize.
He will come to court to prove and all that. So these things are wrong.
Wow.
You understand? And we must deal with it as a society. Because whether you like it or not, okay, there's this statistics that almost 65% of Nigerians are online between the hours of 9 to 10 p.m., 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. The people online are actually more than the people offline. You understand? So now we spend almost like 10 hours of our lives online. Okay? So all our attitude and attributes there will be legal infractions and things we're doing there that must be litigated. And that is why the Cybercrime Act was enacted in 2015 to take care of our life outside the physical space.
Talking about the Cybercrime Act now and using this two celebrities, for example, that were actually so Nigeria, they were used as scapegoats.
Yeah.
Now, how are we going to say their lawyers in question are actually educating them on the Cyber Act crime and what to say and what not to say? So that Nigerians, because most times their fans are believed to actually find the feelings for them to actually go out of role, like go out of proportion and do the wrong thing. So how will their legal team play the right role to educate them on what to say and what not to say?
That's for the celebrity or just every other person?
For every...
Yes. The question is whether the citizens, they won't have lawyers. Many of them don't have, they can't afford. You know, somebody did a track down on one of the very obnoxious Twitter users in Nigeria. There's one guy on Twitter that goes out there to just defame people. It's a popular person on Twitter. So somebody did an investigation on him and traced down to where he lives and all that. You can't keep your dogs there where he stays. But what he chunks out on that Twitter space will wow you. So people like that who do that, maybe because of retweet, views, and whatever money they want to make, they do all that. They should be shown the way to prison. by litigation. You understand? Because we cannot say because you want to get views, bloggers and their likes want to get views or want to make money, then it will be at the expense of others, or it will be at the expense of brands. You can't do that.
Okay, at this point now we'll ask, is litigation the best way to handle this?
Litigation
Especially-
is last resort.
Yes, especially just to join her question to this. Africa is a peculiar space.
Yes.
Cultures, constitutions, laws are embedded in the culture of the people.
Yes.
When a man tells you you are a thief, it doesn't necessarily mean that he is thinking of you as a thief.
Yeah.
It could be metaphorical in saying that,
Yeah.
knowing the kind of culture that we are, born with. So don't you think that is equally a leeway
The
that
court,
shouldn't be taken very seriously?
no. The courts have taken judicial notice of our traditions and customs. It's expected of the court by the Evidence Act that the court will take judicial notice. Okay, vulgar abuse, the ones that guys can abuse each other, they even use that as greeting.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
That one is vulgar abuse, an exception under defamation.
It's an exception.
Yes, vulgar abuse like friends.
Okay.
When they banter and say, see your head,
Okay.
big head, that you can't go to court on it because it's vulgar. The environment already is what you do too, and that's what the other person do too. You understand? You just sound like your father. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
those are vulgar abuse. They are exceptions. They are vulgar languages that are not that should not be taken seriously because the intention is not to defame and the intention is not to demean. Okay, but it is a practice. Okay, those ones the law is very deep. If you go to exceptions, you will see all that. But you understand? But when you say I am arguing against EFCC because I'm a thief, it's not vulgar abuse, and you have written it. It's not just even slander, it's libel. You understand? And when you go and carry oil and start to shake the oil like that, and you are asking somebody that how many oil was used against on you and all that, you cannot say that is vulgar abuse. You cannot say that is not intend to defame. You understand? Or the one Verydarkman did when I was saying the Falana that I respect, 10 million naira and all that. You cannot say those ones. And for vulgar abuse, both parties, both the plaintiff and the defendant, must be within the same age range or something close to it. They must be friends who throw banter and all that. Verydarkman and Falana couldn't have been age mates, couldn't have been throwing banter at each other. So the law will take consideration of everything. Even when you are coming with defense, the defense must also pass the tests and the fidelity of legalism. If it does not pass the test, it will still go to that thing. So we can't afford to continue this way, to reduce people's reputation, disparage them before the eyes of the right-thinking member of society, and bring them into disrepute and stigmatization.
Yeah.
We can't allow that.
Very well. As someone did say, I think the best way to go about this is to comment in your local language. Yeah, so that English wouldn't be. So that English, yeah, exactly. You can interpret it in whichever way that you want. Of course, this English thing is making it look like
You're falling into a trap.
But
Exactly.
convention don't really care about the language deploy. Okay, I mean, it's not the language deploy, it's just that the intent and
The message.
the general message that brings the other person to disrepute. You can write defamatory statement too. I can do a whole bulky expression defaming someone, but as long as I keep it in my closet, it's not defamation. Yes, it's not until a third party gets to it, picks it, and is seen, and then defamation is established immediately. So that.
All right. So let's move on to Daily Trust, a newspaper, after that interesting conversation. And the big story here says, of course, Jigar, a tanker in Fano, a grieving families recount the incident as over 1,200. That is, as at the time this was published, and now it's about 153. Yes. All right.
Okay, moving on the top strip. Senate investigates alleged plot to impeach Akpabio. Details are on page 11.
And also on the bottom strip here, we have Shetima heads for Sweden as Nigerians await Tinubu's return.
Okay, moving on. Federal government deploys satellites to monitor terrorist bandits.
That's a very interesting one.
Mm.
But let's look at that particular story. Joma.
Okay, federal government deploys satellites to monitor terrorists and bandits. Now they are deploying satellites to monitor terrorists and bandits. But if we should go a few months back, they received intelligence about the the end bad governance protest, and that some persons were trying to hijack it. Now, are we going to say that the intelligence that was deployed then can't be deployed now to the point where they now have to deploy satellites to go monitor terrorists and bandits?
No, well, this issue, we have satellites already doing that and monitoring it. So I don't know whether it's extra satellites they are deploying now.
Mm.
Yeah, because we have our own satellite that we use to get images of the operations in Sambisa Forest and so many areas. Maybe there's a relaunch of more of the devices. I don't know what they are talking about, really, because these bandits, they have flashpoints where they operate.
Right.
And by intelligence, they know this flashpoint. Maybe they are doing more, or maybe they are getting more equipment to monitor them. But that is neither here nor there. What is the plan and policy to stop, to exterminate them? That is what we don't know, and that's what we cannot tell. The ones that their names were mentioned or described as sponsors of bandits and terrorists and all that, you have not prosecuted one of them. Okay? Then you want us to be rest assured that you are fighting terrorism. How are you fighting terrorism when those who are their backbone, whom you have identified, whom you have mentioned, whom you have described, you have not arrested any, you have not prosecuted any, you have not convicted any? So I don't think this is more like hypocrisy. So are they telling us now they've started working now, or what? And they were not working before? Or what exactly are they saying? We need a clear plan to put an end to this thing. This thing cannot endure in perpetuity. We cannot afford to continue this way and then expect that the people, so they are telling us one now so that we'll go and jubilate or what? You understand? The bad governance protest, the moment they kick off the thing, police will come and arrest people and charge them for treason and treasonable felony. But these guys who have been killing, maiming, raping, destroying, kidnapping, extorting farmers and everyone, they are there. You are not saying you are deploying this to fight them. I don't think they are fighting them.
All right, so let's look at this particular story just before we call it go on this particular segment. The Senate investigates alleged plot to impeach Akpabio. Don't you think this is an inverted pyramid of leadership style? Why should the Senate investigate alleged plot to impeach Akpabio? When is it bad to
It's wrong.
desire that we are no longer interested in Akpabio being the Senate president?
Yeah, I mean, it's terrible because now they want to look for people who actually, people within who are scheming for the impeachment of Akpabio, instead of them to look at the gross misconduct, whatever misconduct that has been found wanting of. That's what they're supposed to do. You understand? But you know what they are doing in that house now is protecting their own. You have a large number, the leading party. Okay, what they are doing there, instead of making laws, they are doing politics. Okay, they are supposed to have dropped the toga of politics a long time ago upon swearing in. But now what they're doing, they are politicking inside the National Assembly at the expense of the citizens. They have not made one law. Akpabio have not passed any bill or enacted any bill to pull people out of poverty. Rather, he has been making careless statements that if you see food anywhere, now help yourself. Those are the statements of a lawmaker. A lawmaker that should be embarrassed and ashamed that people cannot see food. He's saying if you see food anywhere, help yourself.
Barrister Evans, that video is actually a last year video.
Yes.
Because if you should go through the video critically, you would see that the chambers, there was a change in the chambers. And that was
Yes.
when it was last year. That was when they were actually having a meeting. So that was actually cut out of a complete clip.
Yes.
And if you should go and view the complete clip, it was not a recent state.
It was not a recent
It
statement.
was not a recent.
So a statement have to be recent for it to be.
No, I don't. It's not a recent statement.
You see, that's why I
It
talked
doesn't
about
matter.
that's why I talked about our culture, being embedded in the things that we say, our rhetorics.
Yes.
Someone might
Yeah.
be, satirical in
Yeah.
his expression. That doesn't necessarily mean
I know
we shouldn't.
speaking from a lighter note.
Exactly.
You understand? But you have to be sensitive to the people. He's speaking from a lighter note. That shouldn't ordinarily be held against him. He's just trying to be funny.
Yeah.
And the flow of the house. I know.
Yeah.
I know. But people will not take it like that when you're a leader. People won't take it like that when you're a leader. He jokes a lot. The man probably jokes a lot.
Very well.
A lot.
Very well.
You understand? And it's not exactly a bad person. You understand? But he has failed in his responsibility to turn the people's life around. That is what I'm saying. Many of them you see, those who know them one-on-one, don't talk about them the way we talk about them. Because the man Akpabio is very generous.
Very well. True.
Yes, but you cannot be generous to the entire country or the entire citizenry. But you can take that attribute of generosity, turn it into a bill, let it become a law that will pull the generality of the people out of poverty. That's what I say they are failing to do. Nobody is condemning him for the statement or whatever it is he's saying and all that. But as a leader, if the people have not slept, you have no business sleeping. You have no business sleeping. You must watch over them until they have gone to bed. And until all of them have eaten and gone to bed before you, that is your responsibility. That's what exactly I'm saying.
Okay.
All right. Do we still have some time with us? Maybe let's just go to one or two stories here. The Punch newspaper: fuel price hike, rep warns of unrest as federal government Labour meeting deadlocked.
On the top strip, this is quite interesting. NNPC says store Dangote petrol buyer. NNPC still store Dangote petrol buyer. That is coming from the marketers. Details are on page 35.
All right, on the value of our naira weakens to 1,705 naira to the dollar.
Okay, Ogun community residents relocate as flood water rises.
And also 25% of development levy for student loan. Barrister Vanso Feli, 25% of development levy for student loan. Now, this loan is meant to help students pay for fees they can't afford to pay.
Yes.
Now, there is a levy imbibed in it again. How sincere is this?
Which they will remove.
Yes, exactly.
They will deduct like security.
Yes.
For the main fund.
Yes.
You are supposed to have security for this loan, but not under this circumstance. Because how much is the money? That's the first thing you want to ask yourself. How much is the school fees? Okay. The student should have something left for feeding and some other. It's very difficult to be a student. It's very difficult. I know what it was then. When we go to school in the morning, we're coming back in the evening and we're exhausted. Like, the worst thing that can ever happen to you as a student is not to have food. And you are a student. You can run mad.
True.
You will not understand what the entire ecosystem is about. Okay? So you could just be there. So I don't think under this circumstance we should be talking about that 25%. You already know in your inner man that loan is a bad loan. Students cannot pay back anything.
Very true.
So don't secure it. Yes.
That's very true.
Don't secure it. They cannot pay back because in countries where they give this kind of loan, when you are out, you start to pay. I have friends in America, did their masters. In fact, one of them only paid $700 as school fees when he was leaving. Only $700. When he finished the masters, he got a job. He's paying back now. Okay? But you don't have a country where you have employment. You are giving loan. You already know the loan will fail. Then you're not having 25% this in it. To secure what? What are you securing? There's nothing to secure there. Give the loan out.
Okay.
Let it fail.
Thank you, Barrister Evans.
All right, that's just about the size of our segment today. Love to say thank you to Barrister Vanso Feli. Thank you as always for giving us your time.
When we return, mass burial held for 153 victims of Jigawa tanker explosion. dozens more hospitalized. The state will be right